Hello and welcome to Chair Yoga Plus. Today we're going to have a full class and we're going to use our props throughout the class. So we start with a blanket right under our feet and we sit tall in our chairs. Here we're using two of the props, the chair, the blanket. I also have under my chair some very light weights, and off to my side my blocks and the strap. And when it's time to use the props in the class today, I'll cue that. You don't need props, so feel free to just do this practice with your chair and your body. Grounding the feet into the blanket, sit bones in the chair. Let's roll those shoulders back and down. A little lift through the front of the body. And then we breathe. Just breathe deep into the lungs and out. Not forcing it, just noticing. Notice how you breathe now. And as we go through our practice, I'll cue a few times during class to check in with that breath. And you want it to be just what it is right now. Bringing the hands down at your side, let's circle our wrists and circle them in the other direction. And then take a nice big inhale up, reach out of one side of the body, reach out of the other. And each time you reach, go just a teeny bit further, deepening the stretch. And then both hands overhead, palm to palm. Let's bring them right in front of our heart. Take a nice deep breath. Exhale, take the hands to your lower back and lean out over your legs. Feel that little bit of extra pressure in your feet and the comfort of that blanket if you are using it. And then take the hands out to the side. Reach in opposite directions and rise up to a tall mountain in the chair. Palms together. Hands in front of the heart. And right here you want a little bit of squeeze, pressing hand to hand. And then you release it and take the hands to your back and fold. Keep the elbows back, arms in opposite directions, and we rise up again. Hands in front of the heart, to the back. Fold and inhale nice and tall. And then bring the hands in front of the heart and release them to your hips. Lift one foot, circle. Other direction. Moving through all of our joints, point and flex. And then lower, lift. And then kick it out and bring it back down. And then sit tall here. We'll lift the other foot, wake it up. Other direction, point and flex. Lift and lower. Bringing the knee up towards the body. And we'll kick it out right here. Kick, in and down. And bringing that down, we take another nice big inhale. This time wiggle your fingers all the way down. Resting the hands, let's turn our head one direction, the other. Notice the neck. And then tilt one ear towards the shoulder. Push that arm down. And then release that other side. Push that arm down. And back up to center. Make a circle with your nose. And the other direction. And then come to rest. So we went through every joint except our hips. So let's rock side to side here as I talk about using weights in your yoga practice. Weights in yoga, not unusual, but we don't do it often. Our own bodies provide the resistance that we need in yoga. But once in a while, We want to strengthen some muscles, and so we use the weights, and that's what we'll do right here, right now. So if you have weights, let's step to the side and bring the weights up. I'm using 3-pounders myself. You can use 1 or 2. I wouldn't go much higher than that. We rest them on our thighs. Just notice how that feels for you. And if this isn't for you, just do the exercises without the weights. Once again, we lift one leg up and down. Next, we're going to take it out to the side and bring it back in. And leave that leg out to the side. Sit a little taller and take the other weight down towards that knee. Pull the elbow back and look over your shoulder. One more. And then we'll rest that weight down, bring that foot in, and lift and lower the other leg. You might not lift as high as you do without the weight. That's okay, because you're working against this resistance. Out to the side and back in. Let's leave it out to the side. Turn a little towards that leg. Keep this weight on the thigh here. Take the other weight in the other hand. Pull back the elbow. A little twist. And then release it. Back to your thigh, step the other foot back and in. And now we'll lift one leg and lift the other leg, alternating. See if you're not lifting just a little higher here against the resistance of that weight. Both feet on the ground or on your blanket. We're going to turn the palms up. Keep the elbows in at your side and just lift one weight to the shoulder and down, and then the other. Notice I'm keeping the weight pretty close to my body. The further you push the weight away, the more resistance it's going to give. It'll feel heavier. So we'll practice that right now, right here. One weight can rest. We'll lift the other hand and just hold it there for a moment. See how that feels. And then lower it down. So just this little lift right here might be all that you need. I'm going to take it a little further though. I'm going to push the weight forward, bring it back. Push it forward, bring it back. I'm not completely straightening my arm because as the further that weight gets away from me, the heavier it gets. Let's rest that, and the other hand turns up and we just lift it and hold. See how that feels. Might just do that. Lower and lift. If you want to add that extra resistance, push it out, bring it back. One arm might be stronger than the other. I just noticed that this arm is stronger than the first one. And then down. Very nice. I'm going to take the weights now at my side, sit tall, and then just rock into the hips again. A little weight in the hands, drawing the shoulders down a little bit more. And then sit tall. Let's place the weights back under our chair. Take a nice big inhale here before we move on to the next prop, which will be our block. And remember, if you don't have a block, no problems. If you want to use a very heavy book, that's okay too. And then roll your shoulders forward. And roll them back and down. And then I'm going to step out and grab one of my blocks, just one. I'm going to place it right between my thighs. I'm coming forward a little bit in my chair. And I want the block in my thighs, not on my knees here. You can have it narrow, you can have it wide, or you can have it really wide. I like it in just the medium width here. Sit tall, squeeze into the block and release. Squeeze in and release. Squeeze in and hold. Take one hand to one shoulder, the other hand to the other shoulder. Stack your elbows. Stay here with the elbows lifted or serpentine the arms into eagle arms. Make sure you're squeezing that block. Hold here. Elbows up away from the chest a little. You feel that great stretch in the back of your shoulders. Exhale, notice which arm is on the outside. Release, shake them out, and now switch your arms. Here or here. On an exhale, we release again and shake the arms out. Taking the block now into our hands, let's take it up overhead as if we're putting something up on the shelf and bring it down. Might not feel like much, but what this is doing is keeping our arms parallel. So let's hold it up there now. Press the palm into the block. And again, you can have it the long way, the medium way, or the narrow way. Doesn't matter. But I'm going to have it the long way so that my arms are parallel. Hold the belly in, press the feet into the earth, and then lean over to one side for crescent stretch in the chair. And back through center, reaching high, over to the other side. Take a couple breaths here. And then bring it back up and bring it back down. Very nice. Now we're going to challenge you a little bit. We're going to bring it up. Wherever it is, if your elbows are slightly bent, that's okay too. And we're going to just pull it back as if we're going to put it on our heads like this. We're not going to do that, but that's where I want it, right over the crown of your head. And then release it forward, right over the crown of the head. You'll see in a moment how we can also use the strap for this type of exercise. And then bring it forward and down and rest and take a couple breaths. You can also use the blocks under your feet, and I'll show you a lunge doing that right now. So you can keep the blanket there, or you could place a block there. I'm going to place one on the side of the chair, step out, place my foot on that block, take the other leg back. Now if you want to keep the blanket on that foot, you just slide the blanket back also. Turn towards the side leg and sit tall. Exhale the hands parallel to earth and take the outside arm, open up, turn towards the long edge of your mat if you're using a mat, or just turn towards that back leg. And then come on back, hands up. We'll do that again. Nice deep breath. Exhale, hands parallel to the floor. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, open. Exhale here. And then inhale them back and up. One more on this side. And float the arms down. And now we're going to lean out over that leg, stretch the arm out in front of us, pull the elbow back, look over our shoulder. One more. Stay in the twist. Breathe, look over your shoulder a little deeper. And then exhale and release it. And then step the feet forward again. How did you like using the block? Maybe you didn't. Maybe you want to not use the block on the other side, and that's okay too. I'm going to move my blanket, adjust my props, and go to the other side. Sitting tall here, the outside knee down towards the earth. Perhaps you're on the ball of the foot, which is nice because you get that stretch in the bottom of the foot. And then we sit tall in our lunge in the chair. On an exhale, arms parallel. Draw back the outside arm, look over your shoulder. Open and close. Lift, lower, open, and close. Connect the breath here. Inhale as the body expands. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more. And close. And then float those arms down. Support yourself on that thigh. Outside arm goes forward and back, and with a little twist. And then exhale and release that. And once again, step the feet forward. So I'm going to stand next. You're welcome to join me standing, or you might decide to just stay in the chair. We're going to come in behind our chair. So I'm going to move my chair off to the side. And also move those weights back and out of the way. Make sure they're anchored like mine are with the block. So we stand behind our chair and our feet are a little bit apart. Let's lift and lower. Work the back of the legs here. And if you want to work on balance, hover the hands as you do this. Go a little slower. Here, we're not using any prop other than the chair for stability. So we're working against our own body weight, which is a beautiful thing, to be able to work with our own body weight. And lower down. Now I'm going to take my strap. If you want to use a strap, great. If you don't want to, you can still do this exercise. So I'm going to be standing. You can stand right behind your chair here. I'm going to be standing facing the camera so you can see what I'm doing. I have a yoga strap and it's kind of long, so I'm just going to gently wrap it around the hands. I'm not really making it too tight. So I want it about the distance of my hips, or a little bit wider. Arms down. We're going to keep the arms nice and straight. So you'll see what this looks like sideways. Pushing the arms out in front of us and as high as you can get them. And then you lower them back down. So if we remember, we did this with the block in the chair. So you could do it with a block here, or it's a nice use of the strap. And for a strap, you can always use a belt. Now hold it up over your head here, a little bit forward, not right over the crown. Make sure your feet are grounded. And we're going to tilt one side. Feel that stretch. And then we'll tilt it over to the other side. And back. Let's do it again. Doesn't have to be much, just to where you feel the stretch. Push out, keep the arms long. And back to center. And over to the other side, holding on to the strap, and maybe even pulling away from the center line of that strap to add a little more resistance into the arms, and then bring it back. So now I'm going to take the belt and I'm going to place it behind me, same grip, about a hip distance or a little wider. And then I'm just going to push that weight back, we're going to push the belt back and down. So the arms stay relatively straight and down. Again, feel the squeeze in the back of your shoulders. And then even here, we're going to hold it halfway and we're going to rock it side to side. Just a little. Adding a little mobility to our shoulders. And then bring it back and release it and take the belt forward again. We're going to place the belt down and we'll pick up one weight. Holding the weight in one hand, step the opposite foot forward, coming into a warrior type position, both feet flat on the earth, maybe the back foot turned out at 45. And we'll lean in, hold on to the chair for this one. Hold the weight down by that leg right in front of the thigh and draw the elbow up. Don't worry about how high. Notice what happens in the shoulder. And then back down. Now lift it up there and straighten the arm back. Don't have to lift it high. You're going to feel that in the back of your arm. And then back in. Back. Keep the elbow right by the hip. Strengthening the back of the arm. And then down. Step that foot in. Switch the weight to the other hand. Take that side leg back. Other knee in front, just has a nice little bend. And we lift. Start with the lift. Just lifting that weight up towards your hip. Now hold it up there. Keep the elbow close to the body. Straighten the arm. And bend it in. And then release it down, step it in, and let's place the weight down. And we'll come into down dog, hands on the chair, walk the feet back. And then right here, let's just walk our dog. Lift one heel, lift the other. And then step one foot forward, bend into that knee. Other leg is back and long. Push back with the thigh. Keep the hands here or above your head for Warrior One. Take a few breaths in Warrior One here, lifting through the front side of the body. And then take the arms out into that goddess position, squeezing the shoulders back and release them back and up. Hold the arms here, and then squeeze the elbows forward and out. Working with our own body weight. And then release the hands to the chair, step that back foot in, mountain pose. I'm going to show you how to do that same exercise with the weights. So here again, we need 2 weights. This is the next level up. So we step the other foot forward, coming into that warrior, lower part of the body, warrior with the front knee bent over the ankle. And then you can lift your arms up with the weights. Now this is pretty heavy right above your head here. And remember, it's not necessary because we can work with our own body weight. But I want to show you today, if you want to incorporate weights, how to do that, where to do it. And we could do it right here with that W we did. And then push them back and up. And you probably don't need to do too many. I know I don't. Control the weight and bring it down and step it in. Step into your mountain pose, separate the feet a little bit, and we'll work our side body here. We'll lean to one side, draw the weight down, and bring the other weight up to your waist and down. Stay on the same side. One more here. You can use just one weight and put your other hand on the chair. Soft knees, and then we'll do the other side. Adding a little weight to our side bends. One more. And then pause. Step into mountain and notice. Roll the shoulders. Rolling the shoulders with the weights is a little bit more work. Just be aware. You can put the weights down anytime you need to, or you could do this whole practice without any of these props. Reverse your shoulders. And then pause. Put the weights back down. Come back to down dog and walk your dog. Check out the hips. And then walk the feet in to mountain pose. So we'll take our feet apart again, and we're going to place our hands on our lower back. Bend your knees, and then you could push your pelvic forward and back, or you could take it into a circle. And you can circle it in the other direction. And then step it in. I'm going to show you that same work with the strap. So I'm doubling my strap up because it is kind of long. I'm going to hold it around my hips. I'm going to hold it really tight into my hips here. Soft knees. And again, pelvic forward and back. This just adds a very little bit of resistance, but what I like about it is it helps me keep the hips level. And then we could take them into a circle. So I can feel that I'm pushing here against the strap and then softening away from it. Let's go in the other direction. One more. And pause. So another use for the strap, not necessary, but sometimes useful. I'm going to come back into the chair. And I'm going to bring my blanket back into my chair. And again, I want it about halfway so that the folded part is where my hip bones are going to sit. And this is very useful for tilting the pelvic forward. And then from here, we'll do those same circles, but this time the upper body moves in a circle, not the hips so much. You will feel the weight shift in the hips, but we're working now with the upper body and the other direction. And then sitting nice and tall, we're going to extend one leg out, place our hands on the other leg for support. And again, if you'd like to have that support leg foot on the block, that's good too, because it gives you that tactile reminder, brings the knee up a little bit. Extend the other leg and lean out over it. Taking the same side arm, you can reach out parallel to it. You can bring the hand down to the shin or the toes, depending on your forward fold. Hold here. Feel the compression in the lower abs here as you lean forward into a forward fold. And then slowly slide the hand up. Let's switch sides. So if you're using the block, you put the opposite foot on the block. No block needed, by the way. You could just be right here. Extend. I'm going to turn my chair a little bit so that my sit bones sit right on that fold of the blanket to give me that little bit of pelvic tilt that enhances my forward fold. Support yourself on the bent leg. Slide the other hand down. Toes can come up for that stretch through the back of the ankle. And you stay here for a couple breaths. Keep the shoulders a little engaged, a little pulling back, belly in. This will also support you in the chair. And then we soften, slide the hand up and bring that foot back and in. And just rock side to side here for a moment. And notice that feel of that edge of the blanket on your sit bones, just kind of enhancing it all. And take the body into that circle. 2 times in one direction, and maybe just 2 times in the other direction. And then sit tall, roll the shoulders down your back. You can keep the blanket right there if it's comfortable, or you could remove it at this time. We're going to work with the arms again, so we bring the arms forward, out, palms up, bring the fingertips to your shoulders, and circle the elbows. And circle in the other direction. Now bring the elbows forward and out. Squeeze the back. Notice how this feels. Hold them out to the side. Open up into goddess arms. You can open up the knees also a little bit here. Sitting tall. And we're going to bring the elbows forward. They don't have to meet. We just want to get that motion, squeeze back so the elbows are going behind me a little, and then forward and behind. You can keep doing that without any prop. I'm going to grab some weights here. Another good use of the weights is in this exercise of building back strength. Remember, light weights, back and forward. Keep the elbows on the same plane, parallel with the floor. And your motion forward and back might be just a little bit less here because of the weights. And that's just because of the weights, right? Oh yeah, it's work. And then we bring them back and down. How did you do today with all of these props that we're using today? Placing my weights back down and securing them. We sit tall in our chairs. Let's tap the toes, tap the heels. And then we're going to heel, toe, into a nice wide stance here. Take one shoulder, drop it into that center space, and then the other. One more time. And then sit tall and heel, toe, back and in. Working those ankles. Let's do that again. Heels out, toes out. As much as you can, and then you bring it back. Wonderful. Let's take a little twist here. So first we're going to stretch out our hip a little bit. So I'm going to take one foot to the top of the thigh. And I want it to be slightly bent. I like to have my sole of my foot parallel to the thigh. That works for me. Whatever works for you. You can take that bottom foot out a little bit if that relieves some of the pressure in your hip. And of course, if you've been advised by a doctor or a physical therapist not to do these hip openers, then please follow their directions. But no problems? Then let's stretch out the hip. Sitting tall. And again, here we can lean forward, open the palms. This is our pigeon in the chair, if you will. If you were on the floor, you'd be sinking the hips towards the floor. Here we're just giving them a little tilt with that blanket underneath the sit bones. And then come all the way up, cross that knee over or cross at the ankles. And we're going to turn towards that top leg. So I'm going to place my hands on the side of my thigh first, turning with the ribs, no pressure here. And once I'm there, I can take one hand back and the other hand forward. Stretch the arms in opposite directions. Shoulders away from the ears. Now when you twist in the chair, you only go as far as your shoulders will allow. You want the shoulders to be in alignment. You don't want to try to twist too far that your shoulder might collapse. And you certainly don't want to strain your neck here. But you do want to breathe. So check in with that breath like we did at the very beginning of class. Can you breathe comfortably here? If not, release it just a little bit so that you can breathe. And then we'll release the arms and come forward, uncross. Let's do that all on the other side. So we bring the other foot up. Again, you can have the blanket under that bottom foot, or a pillow, or your block. And we just stay here for a moment. Let gravity, again, gravity and your own body weight open up through the inner thigh and the outer hip. And if you want more, you lean into it and open your palms. There's not a lot of weight here on my arms. Just feeling the stretch in the hip and breathing. That nice, comfortable, natural breath. And then come up and again, knee to knee, either here or here. And we're going to turn towards that top knee to the side of the chair. Open one arm, open the other in opposite directions. Hold and breathe. On an exhale, soften and release the arms and untwist, feet on the earth. And just rock side to side here. Releasing. Let's open up those feet again. Take one arm right in front of us and circle. Other direction. Just let the arm hang, and again, gravity pulling it down gently towards the earth. Other arm. Swings like a pendulum. Reverse it. And then roll up. Bring the feet in parallel. And let's do a few cat-cows to work through our spine. Lift up and look up. Round down. One more time. And then just sit tall, mountain. Have your hands by your side. Fingertips down, chest lifts. And breathe. Take the hands to one side. Rainbow breath up and over. Over to the other side. And then back. Spread your fingers. And down. One more time. And then you can come off the blanket at any time. We're going to take one arm and across the chest and hold it here comfortably. Turn the palm up. Make a fist and open. Make a fist. Spread those fingers as wide as you can. And then make a fist. And then we're going to release that. Take that same arm and pat yourself on the back, bringing the elbow up towards the ceiling. Exhale, slide the hand down all the way and release it. Other arm, make a fist, release. And then slowly release it down, take it to your back, elbow up nice and high. And then slowly sliding it down. Sitting tall. Now I'm going to take my blanket out from under me. And I'm going to end class by using it for our Shavasana. So I'm going to put my feet on a little fold at the bottom. Keep my toes warm. You can have it all the way up to your shoulders. I'm going to keep mine in my lap here. Close my eyes and just feel the warmth of the body being held towards the body by the blanket. The blanket also offers a little weight, very little, but maybe noticeable. depending on your blanket. And we pause here and bring the breath into balance. Observe the benefits of our practice today. And you can stay in Shavasana as long as you like. And then when you come out of Shavasana, make sure that you take the feet off the blanket before you step out of the chair. And if you are ready, you bring your hands to your heart and bow to your body for its fabulous work. Rub the palms. Hover those palms over your face and let the warmth and energy soak in. And then open your eyes to that warmth and energy and bring the hands back to your heart. Thank you again for joining me for this practice with props. Namaste.